Mind your business and keep Will Smith's significant other's name out your mouth. Applause and This is likely unsalvageable. The Brilliant Globes is known for being perhaps of the most turbulent occasion on television, where liquor streams unreservedly, and the stars get totally squandered, which results in crazy unfiltered discourses, and obviously a few hamburgers truly do happen due to them. Now this time our number one unusual honor show has pulled off a trick that was so awe-inspiring it left one star somewhat embarrassed before a great many individuals. Who is the wisecracker? Well, it was everybody's parody Father Eddie Murphy. Yet it appears to be like the entertainer on the less than desirable finish of the joke, none too satisfied, particularly since he's experienced the ringer somewhat recently. Definitely Will Smith is smoldering at Eddie. And we have every one of the deeds. However, before I get into it, try to offer the video a go-ahead and buy-in, so you never pass up any new recordings, and assists us with welcoming out new happy on the ordinary. So while at the honors Eddie Murphy was being respected for the esteemed Cecil B. DeMille grant, it's for those of comedic virtuoso. And as he stood up the group thundered with praise, and they likewise realized that they were in for something unbelievable. It's Eddie Murphy, come on. And as that commendation subsided, Eddie sent off into his discourse. He got some margin to share a few little useful tidbits, and left us with a zinger that left jaws on the floor and individuals multiplied over in his very Eddie Murphy style. He proclaimed, "Tunin' up, women and gentlemen. I'm going to spill the mystery ingredient of progress, so focus. It's essentially as simple as 1, 2, 3. I want to tell you that there is a conclusive plan that you can follow to make progress, flourishing lifespan, and genuine serenity. Do these 3 things: pay your duties, mind your business, and keep Will Smith's better half's name out, yo. Now envision your maker of this entertainment expo with endlessly columns of screens before you and cameras to slice to working this on live television. And that is the point at which you see that one camera with the ideal shot, and you hit go. Will Smith appears on screen. Battle 8 pies. Help a let out a smirk, and the web detonated the award. Is their fan totally wild with his response on the web? And it's circulated around the web presently. Sincerely, I'm truly not one for grant shows, yet the Brilliant Globes, they just hit different. They've generally permitted these crazy unscripted minutes that a culinary specialist kiss fixes things, such that greatly improved. And the joke really beats that, since it was practically sort of foreshadowed. One Twitter client said an illustration of prescient programming, the Will Smith Chris Rock Oscar slap, helps me to remember this scene from The Nutty Teacher 1996, where Eddie Murphy goes after a comic Dave Chappelle in front of an audience. Unexpectedly, Jada Pinkett was in this scene. Someone else said Eddie Murphy's making fun about Chris Rock's laugh at the Brilliant Globes was giggling crying emoticon. As a matter of fact, he mimicked Will Smith. And someone else added the main individual who might have made the Will Smith slap entertaining is Eddie Murphy. What an into that discourse. Yet while the web was ablaze after that joke, behind the stage things were warmed in the incorrect manner. Evidently a ton of the visitors were a lot of tense reasoning they could have a revamp of the Oscars. So Eddie got some margin to dispel any confusion about the entire thing. Diversion this evening truly found Eddie after the service to get the entire arrangement with the cameras moving. Eddie paused for a minute to address that joke that had everybody talking in his unmistakable Eddie Murphy style. He serenely made sense of on the grounds that truly I'd worked with Jada. I love Will, and I love Chris, and Will, it's all adoration. And when I say among companions, I mean Eddie and Jada Pinkett Smith go way back. They truly shared the screen during The Nutty Teacher in 1996. So the joke, it appears, was 100% the sort that 2 lifelong companions sort of returned quickly and forward between each other. And with Eddie's explanation, everybody sort of quieted down a piece. Fans read the indication of help. There was no more hitting going to happen. We previously saw firsthand the way that a joke can be totally dramatically overemphasized at the Oscars. So it's sort of good to see Eddie pause for a minute to explain there's no animosity between anybody, however, at that point. Some more mayhem occurred. Eddie won, to keep it genuine, shared a few fascinating experiences. When he was gotten some information about his assumptions for hearing from Will Smith, after that joke Eddie essentially grinned and said, "No, I haven't, except for I love the two of them." Presently rushed to make no judgment calls, yet on the grounds that Eddie made a point to emphasize his adoration for both Will and Chris during that visit. With additional, he likewise uncovered that assuming that he were facilitating the impending Oscars in spring, he could not have possibly allowed that scandalous second to sneak past without a joke, assuming I was trusting the Oscars. I would have worked that joke that I did write in there some sort of way. I think you need to express something about it, which doesn't shock us at all. Eddie's known for dropping jokes on the fly and doing some promotion living. Yet he additionally knows how to jab fun without holding any feelings of resentment. So despite the fact that Eddie doesn't expect a call from Will Smith, it's ideal to realize that that soul of parody won here, and with the Oscars on the way, perhaps Eddie has a few additional quick reactions to convey around the entire circumstance. Yet obviously, not every person was basically as excusing as Eddie Murphy. Evidently, certain individuals, in all actuality, do in any case have hamburger with Will Smith and his absence of endeavors, will we say, during a new appearance on Huge Young Men Neighborhood. Chris Rock's sibling chose to put any misinformation to rest about the alleged absence of contact with Will Smith and Chris Rock following that scandalous, in front of an audience laugh at the 2022 Oscars. Currently, as per Tony Rock, Chris Rock's sibling Wills guaranteed that he contacted Chris just after the slap was essentially false. In a wild second on the public broadcast, Tony unhesitatingly expressed that I've connected with him. He would have rather not talked. That wasn't correct, right? That wasn't accurate. That I think like too pleasant woman. He said I connected with Chris. And he would have rather not talked. That wasn't correct. Now Tony is no more odd to Will Smith. He featured in the Smith-delivered sitcom We All. And he has a few pretty intriguing takes in general circumstance, including his astonishment when he didn't hear from the Liberation entertainer. Tony shared, "He doesn't owe me anything. I simply thought we were superior. To that my telephone number has never showed signs of change. So I simply thought I'd get a call one day like, 'Hello man, we should just you.' And I just topped you realize it hasn't worked out, so I get it won't work out." And keeping in mind that Eddie Murphy has made it sound like things were cool among him and the Smith family, clearly the inclination isn't common. There's reports out there proposing that Will is really pissed at Eddie for making fun of him and his better half, Jada Pinkett Smith. Evidently, Will thought about that joke pretty literally and feels like Eddie went too far. There is an extraordinary spot that you can hit on, Will, and that is the subject of being public examination, encompassing his own life. That is the delicate one, yet sincerely when you're in Hollywood, it's practically sort of expected. And many individuals are contending that he ought to have never circulated his grimy clothing on television on the off chance that he didn't need consideration. I mean, there's various occurrences of it, from appearing on Red Casual Conversation with